Today's workout is a 15-minute energy boosting postpartum workout. It'll help you fuel the demands of mom life. It's postpartum and C-section friendly, hormone balancing, and all you need is a mat. Let's get started. Hey mamas, today's workout is a 15-minute energy boosting postpartum workout. We're gonna do a little bit of strength, a little bit of cardio to get the heart rate up, but overall leave you feeling balanced rather than depleted post-workout to give you that energy you need to tackle the everyday demands of mom life. We're gonna start with a monster walk, so go ahead and come to the edge of your mat. We're gonna sit down in a squat, hands out front anywhere you'd like, and then walk across just a few steps, right then left, and as many as you can go across, that's fine. We're gonna go 30 seconds on, 10 seconds rest. So the intervals are gonna be quick, so we get that little boost of energy, get the big muscle groups working. I want you to sit back and down into the hips, and your knees are pushing through the centers of your feet. You can go low, you can stay up a little higher. The more deep you can go in that squat, the more you're gonna work those legs. We're already at our first break. We're gonna move to a single leg bridge. So we're gonna start with that right heel on the floor. The left leg is gonna be bent at 90 degrees, and we're gonna drive the hips up and then lower, lightly tapping the ground. So you're pushing out of that right heel, squeezing the glute at the top, and then that left leg is just bent at 90 degrees. And you wanna maintain that strong core brace, so you're zipped up through the pelvic floor and core, belly button to spine, engaging glutes and hamstrings at the top by thrusting the hips up. Not too much though, we wanna keep that work in the back of the leg rather than the hip flexor. Couple more seconds, and we stand back up. Carefully, mindfully come to your feet again. We're gonna go back to legs, staying on that same right leg. We're gonna keep it forward. So left leg goes back, we're gonna lunge, and then lift that front leg, or the opposite leg. The left leg is lifting about 90 degrees for a little bit of crunch. I'll show you here from the side. 90-90 at the knees, and then 90 in that knee lift. Chest is lifted. I'm using my arms to kind of help counterbalance here. And I'm pushing out of my front heel to get that glute engaged. And that's the same glute we just worked in that single leg bridge. And that's purposeful because we can really start to fatigue that muscle. Now we're gonna hit it on the other side. So single leg glute bridge, this time, left heel is on the floor, driving through that left heel to lift the hips. Light tap. You don't have to tap your hips on the floor. If you want to advance the exercise, leave them just hovering right here off the ground, about an inch. And again, we want that power to come from the glutes. So push down through that heel, squeeze at the top. So you can see we're doing movements that get the heart rate up and movements that level it off. So right now we're letting that heart rate come down a bit, focusing on fatiguing that muscle, and then we're gonna burn it out here. Come back up for that lunge with the knee lift. So again, that left leg is gonna be forward, it's gonna be grounded. We're gonna drive that back knee up. And when you drive that back knee up, really think about crunching through your lower abs. So you're lifting the knee to you, you're not hunching over at any point. It's okay to lean a little bit forward, hinge from the hips a little in the lunge. That's perfectly fine. In fact, to go totally upright in the lunge is a little bit unnatural. So again, we're pushing through that front heel, squeezing the glute, and the faster you can move in this one, the more your heart rate's gonna get up, but we really wanna hit that 90-degree range in the lunge. Rest here. Okay, to the floor again. We're going to a bird dog push-up. So we're gonna start with knees under hips, hands under shoulders. We're gonna alternate the right leg and the left arm, then repeat, left leg, right arm, and then we're gonna walk it out, push up, walk back in. So let's repeat that. Opposite arm and leg, shoulder height, hip level with the arm and the leg, and then walk out the hands wide, bring that chest to elbow level. So we're getting the core here, and make sure those hands are under the shoulders here, but then you walk them out to give a little more intensity to that push-up. You wanna maintain that strong ab brace the whole round here, so you can really connect to that deep core. Moving back on, this time we're gonna do a side plank with a leg raise. So come onto your forearm. We're gonna keep this bottom leg bent, and this top leg, we're gonna lift it up and down, just lightly tapping the blade of the foot. And then you're keeping this elbow at 90 degrees right under that shoulder. You're lifting through that bottom hip, you're zipped up through the pelvic floor and core. You can keep the arm here, here, wherever's comfortable. We're focusing on also engaging this glute while working those adductors here. It's a lot going on, but it's so good for those hips. Okay, now flipping back over onto our hands and knees for bear crawls. Told you we were gonna move fast today, so tuck those toes, lift the knees just an inch off the floor. Opposite arm and leg are gonna move together. So we're gonna walk a few forward, a few backwards. I'm doing 4 each way. Trying to keep those knees close to the ground and trying to keep your shoulders over your wrists here. And that's gonna help engage the deep core and keep that work in the core safely and in your shoulders as well. It's full body here. All right, rest again. We're gonna move to that side plank with the leg raise, this time hitting the other side. So again, focus on that bottom hip, being really lifted here. Again, you can keep the arm up or down, and then just lightly, slowly moving that leg. It's not about how high you can lift this leg. You can see I'm stopping about hip level. And that's really all you need to do to work those outer thighs and hips here. You don't need to kick it up here. If you can, go for it. But we don't want to externally rotate, right? We want to keep everything square to the front. And again, keeping that core engaged nice and tight. All right, moving on to a lateral bear crawl. So we start in the same position, but this time we moved side to side. So tuck those toes, again, good alignment. I'm gonna do 2 right, then 2 left. So again, however much space you have determines how many you can do. But again, we want that alignment, shoulders over wrists, knees under the hips and knees close to the ground. So watch when you're shifting your weight across. Some natural rocking is gonna happen, but can you try to correct and bring those knees close to the ground? Woo! That gets tough at the end. All right, on your back. This one we get to lay down. We're gonna do a little core work, dead bugs. So bring the knees over the hips, arms over the shoulders. We're gonna take the front leg and the back arm out and in. Switch, out and in, keeping that core engaged here. So belly button to spine, pelvic floor is engaged, and then you're doing an opposite arm and leg thing. You kind of have to think about it. You can go as low as you want to, but make sure that lower back, there's not too much space between that low back and the floor here. We want to make sure we're not seeing any sort of compensation happen here and we feel strong. Okay, that was round 1. We've got another round to go. So carefully come up to your feet. You can grab some water. We've got about 20 more seconds here to rest and recover. So you can see we've done full body. We've worked those big muscle groups. Heart rate is up. So this time, ask yourself, what do you want to do? Do you want to back off a little bit? Do you need a little bit more? You could even stop here if you'd like. We're going to begin again with that monster walk. So feet just underneath the hips, hands out front, anywhere you like. Walking across. I'm going to see if I can challenge myself here by going a little deeper in my squat. Now, I like to do these too with a resistance band. If you want a little more glute work here, you could absolutely do that or add a weight up here. But for today, I'm just keeping it a little bit lower intensity for myself. Do what feels good to you. There's tons of ways you can make these exercises more challenging, again, by going lower. But if you need a little less, go slower. Don't get as deep in that squat. Okay, single leg glute bridge, starting with that right foot on the floor. Engage that core, take a breath here, make sure you're connected, feeling strong, and lift. Nice and controlled. You don't have to go fast here. In fact, the slower you can go on the way down gives that glute a little more of a challenge. Couple more seconds here. Doesn't have to be high intensity for it to be effective, right? We feel this. All right, coming back onto your feet carefully, mindfully. We're gonna go to those lunges. This time, again, right foot stays forward. We're gonna work that right glute again. So lunge and lift. And again, make sure we're keeping the back nice and straight. You could hinge forward slightly, but we never wanna round the spine. We wanna keep a nice straight back. And then watch that front leg. Your knee can come over your toes a little bit, but you don't wanna lose that connection from the heel into the ground. Keep the heel planted and the toes just light on the floor, so we keep that work in the glute out of the joint. Rest here. We're gonna go back to the floor, single leg glute bridge, other leg, so left heel is on the floor now. Gonna let that heart rate come down as we engage the glute. So those 2 movements back to back, plus the monster walks we already did, right? It's all about those glutes, those hips. And the great thing about doing exercises like this back to back is you really fatigue that one muscle group. You make it stronger. And when you work those big muscle groups, heart rate goes up as well. Lots of benefits in a short amount of time. That's what we like here. All right, moving back to those lunges onto our feet. This time, again, that left leg is gonna be forward. For the next 30 seconds, let's do it. And again, if you want to, you can slow it down. You don't have to make it as cardio intensive. And that's what I love about things like this. You can start to speed up. If you want more cardio, you can slow it down. You can add a weight in your hand if you want to make it more strength focused. It's all about what you need to give you that energy today. All right, back to the floor, bird dog push-ups. So again, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. We're gonna do opposite arm leg, shoulder height, hip height, keeping that core braced, trying to keep everything square to the floor. Walk the hands forward, loaded in the core, loaded in the upper body. So I want you to think stability here. As you move the arms and the legs, can you keep that core braced? Can you keep everything square to the floor? Can you avoid rocking at the hips? Especially in that push-up, can you move everything down and up simultaneously? So not just to the chest drop, but everything drops and comes up like this together. All right, moving on to that side plank with the leg raise. Onto the forearm, lift that bottom hip, leg lifts up and down. So good for connecting to that pelvic floor and the deep core here. Man, we only have a few minutes left, but can you believe it? In 15 minutes, really it's less than that, what we can accomplish. And it's so good to just in the middle of the day, maybe you're dragging, you need a little boost of energy. Sometimes what you really need to do is move, right? It's tempting to sit on the couch, to scroll. Okay, going to those bear crawls. Lift those knees, let's go. But what's really gonna give you energy? Sometimes it's a nap, but sometimes if you only got 15 minutes, is it worth it to try to nap? Sometimes a little bit of movement will do the trick. Get that blood flowing, give you that boost of endorphins. To entertain your kids after nap time. I know I always need that, especially on days like today, it's raining and we don't have any plans. Rest, all right, side plank, leg lifts, other side. Lift, brace that core. And if you're looking for more postpartum workout videos, I have entire playlists on my channel. I've got more like this where we do interval train, some cardio, some strength, resistance bands, no equipment, tons of core workouts and C-section workouts too. So be sure to check out my playlist. And if you've got suggestions, drop them in the comments. I always like to hear what people want to see on the channel for new ideas for workout videos. Okay, lateral bear crawls. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, tuck the toes, brace, lift. I think this one's pretty challenging. It really makes you think about your technique because you're thinking about those shoulders, the alignment there. You're thinking about the lower body alignment. You're thinking about your pelvic floor, your core. But it's things like this, complex movements, that really strengthen your whole body, not even just your core. Great for coordination too. Okay, on your backs, we're gonna finish it out with that dead bug. So Bringing the knees back over the hips. Again, opposite arm and leg, lower back gently pressing toward the floor. Taking the front arm, back leg. Doesn't really matter which side you start with. And also the arms, it adds a little intensity, but if that confuses you, just take the arms out. You can just do the legs and get majority of the benefits from the lower body and the lower abs. And you don't have to go as low as I am. You can go here to 45 degrees. You can go lower if you'd like to go all the way to the floor. You control that intensity. Rest, okay? 15 minutes. I don't know about you, but I feel so much more energetic than I just did a few minutes ago. So hope you enjoyed that. Again, drop a like in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. I forget to say that, and somebody reminded me, remind people to like and subscribe your videos. And I said, oh, that's great. I should tell people to do that. So if you like this video, please like it, please subscribe to my channel, and please let me know, again, any suggestions you might have. Also, be sure to check out in the description, I have linked my mat and my new YouTube guides if you're looking for more guidance and support as to individual programming and which workouts you should be doing for your best postpartum fitness. Check those out, they're on my website now. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you back here for our next workout together.